This is the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. This is the Explorer grip designed by Tilta, and together they make it ergonomically viable to use the Leica branded lens and 50 megapixel images this camera has under its hood for photography. This sounds cool in theory, but what is that actually like to use in the real world? Well, I went and tested it out so you can see the results for yourself. A big thank you to Insta360 for supporting me in making today's video. So I'm going to be straight up with you. I have zero experience using action cameras, and the only thing I knew about them going into this is that they have a wide angle lens, but I didn't really realize how wide that is. We took the train up to the city to test this kit out on some street and urban photography, and when I got up there, I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed trying to compose with what is such a wide field of view. I normally have a bias towards longer focal lengths, so to be shooting something that is so wide felt very foreign to me, and it was starting to feel like quite a challenge. At first, I found myself fiddling around with some of the settings, trying to dial back the distortion, use the 2x zoom, and generally try to make my photos look more traditional. This wasn't really working for me, but then I had an epiphany in the street. Why am I trying to make this camera something that it's not? This is an ultra wide angle lens, so why not just lean into that and embrace it? Once I had this mindset shift, everything changed, and I started using the opportunities a wide angle gives you. Endless depth of field and a new, interesting perspective. Once I started putting emphasis on a single subject in the middle of the frame and using the environment to frame it, everything made so much more sense. I thought that this look was really effective, and leaning into this more fisheye look was something that I really enjoyed when I was using this camera. I found that getting close up to things made the compositions more unique and interesting, and gave my compositions a focal point, which is what I would normally do. But because it was such a wide angle lens, I was programmed to think I need to stand back and get more in the shot and be taking these wide angle photos. So I was really pleased with myself that I was able to take this challenge and still produce photos that looked like my work and fit with my style, but were building on what I can do and produce as a photographer. The specs on this camera are pretty impressive. It can do 4K in iLog as well as up to 8K with those baked in Leica color profiles. And as I said, I'm not experienced with action cameras at all, but by all reports, this one is beating out the competition in terms of image quality, especially in lower light where any camera with a smaller sensor is going to really struggle. Now, Insta360 aren't trying to claim that this tiny camera can go up against modern cameras with larger sensors. They simply want this grip to transform this camera into something that you can use comfortably for photography, as well as using it for its primary feature, which is video. Let's talk about the photos specifically. I was using the JPEG and RAW setting with the colors set to Leica Natural or Leica Vivid. But for the most part, I preferred how the edited RAW photos looked, as I could dial in that more organic, filmy look that is part of my personal style. The crisper, more clean HDR look is very popular, and it's what you can expect if you use the JPEG settings with the various color profiles. Also, with the JPEGs, you can use the various modes to dial back that distortion digitally, or in the 12 megapixel mode, you can do a 2x punch in that can be used for a more normal looking image. Obviously, there will be a bit of a drop in image quality compared to the 50 megapixel mode. Something fun you can do is make use of all of that resolution and create 65 by 24 X-pan crops of your images. This ultra wide angle and a panoramic aspect ratio can work really well, I think. Doing this still leaves about a 20 megapixel image as well, so I think that alone is a pretty cool and unique way to use this camera. Using the Explorer grip is honestly really quite nice, and it's very sturdy, very decent quality. As far as the shutter goes, it feels very clicky and I really enjoy the sound. It really feels like you're taking a photo, so I love the attention to detail there and how they've really dialed that in for photographers. I actually think the grip is also great for video too, because you can film like this with just one hand and keep your fingers away from the lens. I imagine if you were using this without the grip setup, you would run the risk of getting your fingers in the way of the lens when you are taking video. So overall, I think that this grip is a really great, solid addition so that this is able to be used in many more ways. Another quality of life feature here with the grip is that it allows you still to access the USB port. So if you have a charger, you can charge on the go. And I think that's really great, not having to take everything out of the cage to be able to do that. Having a wrist strap is also really great, something I appreciated when I was in the streets shooting. It's a nice addition and it also matches the Explorer grip really nicely, which I appreciate. Another cool feature of the Explorer grip is being able to magnetically and easily attach something like this multi-mount tripod that Insta360 generously sent me as well. It just really quickly attaches without you having to remove the grip, which I think is really cool if you were out and about and you were taking photos or videoing and then you quickly wanted to just film yourself doing something. This would be so easy. When doing any kind of video work outside, it's really important to have an ND filter, and this camera, you can buy a little set of ND filters that just pop on the front really easily, so that's great. I don't have a whole lot of experience filming myself when I'm out and about, but having multiple YouTube channels now, I was really excited to get my hands on both of these so that I can film myself more, do little pieces to camera. I think it would be so great if we took these traveling to document the experience. So we're just testing out the video on this as it is an action cam. So first and foremost, that's what it's for. We're at a beautiful spot on the Gold Coast, Miami Hill. Beach is so nice, and this is the perfect spot for wide angle photos, which I've just taken, and I'm really keen to see what the video will look like. We're like vloggers. Insta360 also sent me this cute little Go 3S, which you might have seen in previous footage. You just pop a necklace on and then this piece here just attaches magnetically, which I think is really smart, and it's also very inconspicuous, great for POV shots. I'm excited to put that to use more in the future as I practice more street photography, put more diverse videos together. And like I said, I would be so happy to have both of these if I was going on like a Japan photo trip or something. So hopefully if you guys have ever thought about purchasing something like this, my experience and my results have given you a really good idea of what it's capable of. As I said, Insta360 aren't trying to claim that this can compete with modern cameras with large sensors, but I think it's really cool how you can mod this for a good photo experience as well as a video one. Most people who buy this camera will be buying it for its video features, but adding the grip on and being able to easily take photos as well is just such a nice bonus. I loved the functional shutter button and the challenge of shooting with such a wide angle. It was so much fun. If you're interested, the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 and the Explorer grip come in a kit. Everything is linked below in the description for you guys to check out. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks to Insta360 for making today's video possible.